Twin brothers separated at age 7. One taken to missionary school to be civilized. One stayed with tribe to live the traditional way. 15 years later, the whitened brother returned, but he no longer recognized his brother. He'd forgotten the language, forgotten the culture, forgotten himself. New South Wales, 1885. Wiradjuri lands, a small Aboriginal community near Gundagai. A peaceful settlement. Families had lived here for generations, trying to maintain traditional ways despite increasing colonial pressure. Wirra and Kuparr, identical twin boys, 7 years old, literally impossible to tell apart. Same face, same voice, same mannerisms. Even their parents sometimes got confused. Perfect mirrors of each other, not just physically, spiritually connected. The twin bond carried special significance in Wiradjuri culture, a shared soul split into two bodies. Mother Yari loved watching them. "My two little warriors," she'd say. "Together you are complete." Never forget each other. Father Burren was teaching them traditional skills, hunting, tracking, reading the land, understanding Dreamtime stories. Both boys were eager learners. Kuparr was slightly better at tracking. Wirra was slightly better at ceremonies. But together, a perfect team. Life was good. Hard, but good. Traditional Wiradjuri life mixed with necessary adaptations to colonial reality. The tribe traded with local settlers, maintained peaceful relations, tried to preserve culture while surviving in a changing world. Then came the missionaries. Reverend Edmund Blackwell arrived with Aboriginal Protection Board authority. Mission: rescue Aboriginal children, educate them, civilize them. In reality, cultural genocide disguised as charity. Blackwell visited the Wiradjuri camp. He surveyed the children. His eyes landed on the twins. "These two boys," he said to the parents, "perfect age for mission school. We'll teach them reading, writing, Christianity, proper English. Give them a chance at a civilized life." Yari was immediately protective. "No, my sons stay with me." "Mrs." Blackwell struggled with the Aboriginal name. "This isn't a request. The Protection Board has authority to remove children deemed at risk." "At risk? They're perfectly healthy. At risk of remaining in savage conditions. Mission school is their salvation." Burren stepped forward. "You can't take our children." "Actually, I can. The law is clear. Aboriginal children can be removed for their own benefit." "Benefit? Ripping them from their family is a benefit?" Blackwell sighed, feigning sympathy. "I understand this is difficult, but think of their future. Here, they'll remain primitive. At the mission, they'll learn skills, become productive members of society." "They are productive. They're learning traditional knowledge, cultural practices. Pagan practices that keep them in darkness. We're offering light." Yari pleaded. "Please, they're only 7, too young to be separated from their parents." "That's precisely why this is important. Young enough to adapt, to forget savage ways, to embrace civilization." "Forget? You want them to forget their culture?" "I want them to transcend it. Now, which boys are coming?" A devastating choice. The parents looked at their twin sons holding each other, frightened. Burren made a desperate calculation. "If we must lose one, take Kuparr, leave Wirra." "Why separate the twins?" "Because if you take both, we lose everything. Leave us one son, please." Blackwell considered. "Very well, one child is sufficient for now. Kuparr, come here." Kuparr clung to Wirra. "No, don't want to go. Want to stay with brother." Wirra held tight. "Don't take him. Please, we stay together." A heartbreaking scene. Missionary assistants physically pulled the boys apart. Kuparr screaming, Wirra screaming, parents crying, trying to intervene but held back by colonial police accompanying the mission. "Don't worry," Blackwell said coldly. "He'll thank us eventually." The last image Wirra had, Kuparr in the wagon, reaching back toward him, tears streaming, mouth forming, "Brother!" as the distance grew. Wirra collapsed, sobbing, the physical pain of separation, like half his soul had been ripped away. The twin bond severed violently. Yari held her remaining son. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Why did they take him? Why not me?" "Because the world is cruel. Because white law doesn't care about our families." That night, Wirra couldn't sleep. He felt incomplete, empty. Where was Kuparr? Was he scared? Did he cry? Were they treating him well? Questions that would haunt him for years. Meanwhile, Kuparr arrived at Warangesda Mission Station. A harsh place. Dozens of Aboriginal children, all stolen from families. Dormitories like prisons, strict schedules, rigid discipline. First rule, Aboriginal languages forbidden, English only. Speak your native tongue, you'll be punished. Kuparr didn't understand much English yet. When he tried speaking Wiradjuri to another child, the missionary matron heard. "What did you say?" I ask where sleeping." "In English. We don't use savage languages here." She hit his hand with a ruler. Pain shot through. The lesson was learned quickly. Traditional language equals punishment. Second rule, Aboriginal names forbidden. You have Christian names now. "But I'm Kuparr." "You were Kuparr. Now you're Charles. Charles Wilson. That's your civilized name. Identity erased, language forbidden, culture called savage. Education consisted of Bible study, English grammar, basic arithmetic, agricultural labor, boys, domestic service training, girls. Nothing about Aboriginal culture. In fact, they were actively taught to be ashamed of it. "Before we saved you," Reverend Blackwell lectured, "your people lived in darkness, worshiping false spirits, practicing heathen rituals. We're giving you a gift: Christianity, civilization, salvation." Young Kuparr was confused. He remembered his father's Dreamtime stories as beautiful, meaningful. Now he was told they were lies, evil. But day after day, year after year, the messaging continued. Aboriginal equals bad, white equals good, traditional equals savage, civilized equals superior. And slowly, tragically, Kuparr began believing it. He forgot Wiradjuri words, replaced them with English, forgot traditional songs, replaced them with hymns, forgot ceremonies, replaced them with church services. By age 15, after 8 years at mission school, Kuparr, now exclusively Charles, spoke fluent English, minimal Wiradjuri, wore European clothes comfortably, followed Christian practices, believed the mission's teaching. His Aboriginal heritage was something to overcome, not celebrate. The mission considered him a success story. Reformed native, proof civilization works. Back at the Wiradjuri camp, Wirra grew up differently. Without his twin brother, he felt incomplete, but channeled his energy into cultural immersion. He learned everything possible from the elders, became an expert tracker, hunter, ceremony participant. His traditional language was fluent, his Dreamtime knowledge was deep. By 22, Wirra was a respected young warrior, the tribe's cultural keeper. Everything Kuparr should have been alongside him. But he never forgot his twin brother, wondered constantly. Where was he? Did he remember? Would they ever reunite? Mother Yari had aged significantly, grief over her separated son visible. "Do you think he remembers us?" "I don't know, Mother. I hope so. I should have fought harder, should have hidden him. You did what you could." White law was too strong. One day in 1900, a messenger arrived at camp from the mission station. "A young man named Charles Wilson is being released from the mission. He's completed his education, being returned to his birth community." Wirra's heart leapt. Kuparr, after 15 years, the entire family prepared. Yari cooked special food. Burren arranged a welcome ceremony. Wirra could barely contain his excitement. Finally, his twin brother was returning. They'd be complete again. The day arrived. A wagon approached the camp. A figure stepped out. Wirra froze. Yes, physically identical, same face, now matured. But everything else? Different. Kuparr, Charles, wore a full European suit, hair cut short, European style, carried a Bible, stood stiffly, uncomfortably, looked at the Aboriginal camp like it was foreign land. Wirra ran forward. "Kuparr!" "Brother," arms open, traditional Wiradjuri greeting. Kuparr stepped back, confused. I'm sorry, I don't understand your language anymore. Do you speak English?" Wirra stopped, stunned, his heart sinking. You don't speak Wiradjuri?" "Wiradjuri? Was that our language? I'm afraid I've forgotten. The mission taught us English. It's all I know now." "Forgotten? But it's our language. Please, speak English. I really can't understand otherwise." Wirra switched to broken English, learned from traders. "You are my brother, Kuparr. You remember me?" "Wirra?" Recognition flickered. "Wirra? That name, familiar, but I'm Charles now. Charles Wilson, that's my Christian name." "Christian name? Your name is Kuparr." Was Kuparr. I'm civilized now. Charles Wilson, educated at Warangesda Mission. I can read, write, know scripture. I'm not that anymore. Not what? Not, savage. Wirra felt like he'd been punched in the gut. His brother had just called their shared heritage savage. Yari approached, tears streaming. Kuparr, my son, you've come home. Kuparr looked at the elderly Aboriginal woman uncertainly. You're my mother? Of course, don't you remember? I have vague memories, but the mission discouraged dwelling on the past, said to focus on a civilized future. She tried hugging him. Kuparr stood stiffly, awkwardly, didn't return the embrace naturally, like he'd forgotten how. Burren next. Son, welcome back. Thank you, sir. I appreciate being returned, though I must admit this is all quite foreign to me now. Foreign? This is your home. Is it? I barely remember. The mission was my home for 15 years. The family was devastated. They got the body back, but not the spirit, not the identity, not their Kuparr. That night the community held a welcome ceremony. Traditional dance, songs, dreamtime stories, celebrating Kuparr's return. But Kuparr, Charles, sat uncomfortably outside the circle. Didn't participate, didn't understand the significance. Watched like an anthropologist observing a foreign culture, not a member returning home. When an uncle began a traditional song in Wiradjuri, Kuparr whispered to Wirra in English, "What is he saying? What does this mean?" Wirra's heart broke. He's singing about twin brothers separated, reunited, about you, about us. Oh, that's nice, I suppose. You don't feel it? Feel what? The connection. The culture. This is who we are. Who you are, perhaps, but I'm different now. I'm civilized. Civilized? You think we're not civilized? I didn't mean offense, but the mission taught the proper way to live, and the traditional way is improper. Reverend Blackwell said, "I don't care what the white missionary said. He stole you, stole your identity, filled your head with lies. They're not lies. They saved me from ignorance." Ignorance? You forgot your own language, your own family, your own self, and you call us ignorant? The argument escalated. The first fight the twins had ever had. Painful, proof of how much had changed. The following weeks were difficult. Kuparr couldn't adapt to traditional camp life. Uncomfortable sleeping in a traditional shelter, couldn't hunt properly, didn't know plant knowledge, struggled with everything that should have been natural. Worse, his attitude. He constantly compared everything to the mission. At the mission, we had proper beds. At the mission, we ate civilized food. At the mission, we wore proper clothes. The community tried to be patient, but frustration grew. This young man was acting superior, calling their traditional ways primitive. Wirra felt anger mixing with grief. This wasn't his brother. This was a stranger wearing his brother's face. One night, he confronted him. "You're not even trying to remember, to reconnect." Reconnect to what? A past I barely remember? Practices that seem, honestly, quite primitive? Primitive? This is 50,000-year-old culture, sophisticated, complex, beautiful. It's dancing and stories. The mission taught real knowledge, reading, mathematics, scripture. And what good is reading if you can't read your own identity? What good is scripture if you've forgotten your own spirit? My spirit is Christian now. Your spirit is Wiradjuri. You're Aboriginal. That's in your blood. Blood can be purified through civilization. Wirra stared, horrified. Listen to yourself. You sound like them, the people who stole you. You're repeating their propaganda. It's not propaganda, it's truth. The truth is they brainwashed you, ripped out your soul, replaced it with their beliefs. You're not civilized, brother. You're colonized. There's a difference. I won't listen to this savage talk. There it is again. Savage! You just called your own brother savage. The boy you used to be savage. Our mother savage. Is that what you really think? Kuparr hesitated. His certainty was wavering. I don't know what I think anymore. The first crack in the conditioning. Wirra saw the opening. He softened his approach. Brother, look at me. Really look. Don't you remember? We're twins, a shared soul. You're incomplete without your culture, just as I'm incomplete without you. I don't feel incomplete. Don't you? Truly? No dreams of traditional songs you can't quite remember? No sense something's missing? Kuparr went quiet. The truth was, he did have those dreams. Vague memories, feelings he couldn't name, empty spaces in his identity. Sometimes, he admitted quietly, sometimes I hear singing. In a language I don't understand, but it feels familiar, safe, like home. That's your spirit remembering. That's who you really are, calling you back. But the mission lied. They had to lie to justify stealing children. They had to make us believe our culture was worthless, otherwise we'd resist their theft. You really think it was theft? You were 7 years old, screaming, ripped from your mother's arms. What else would you call it? Kuparr had no answer. His emotional walls were beginning to crack. I don't know how to come back, he whispered. 15 years, so much forgotten, so much replaced. I don't know if I even can. You can. I'll teach you. We'll do it together, like we should have all along. What if I can't? What if too much is lost? Then we save what we can. But we try. Because you're my brother, and I'm not losing you to their brainwashing. A slow process began. Wirra teaching Kuparr, retraining Charles back into Kuparr. They started with language, simple words, beret, sun, billa, river, gear, gum tree. Kuparr struggled. His brain was trained to think in English. Wiradjuri words felt foreign, awkward, but occasionally a flash of recognition. Wait, that word, I know that word, from childhood. Yes, you're remembering. Progress was slow, frustrating. Kuparr would take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Some days he embraced the traditional learning. Other days he retreated to his mission conditioning, calling it all primitive again. The community was patient but wary. Some welcomed his return. Others mistrusted him. He thinks he's better than us. Talks like a white man. Yari defended her son fiercely. He was stolen. Give him time to heal. Burren worked with Kuparr on hunting skills, teaching him to track, read land signs, understand animal behavior, skills that should have been second nature. At first, Kuparr was terrible, clumsy, impatient. This is inefficient. Why not just buy meat from a butcher? Burren resisted his anger. Because we're not buying from the white man. We're connecting with the land, with our ancestors, with food that sustains us spiritually as well as physically. That's just superstition. No, it's relationship. Try again. Slowly, very slowly, Kuparr improved. And more importantly, he started feeling something. Pride when he successfully tracked a kangaroo. Joy when he identified a plant correctly. Connection when he participated in a small ceremony. The breakthrough came 6 months after his return. A night of storytelling, an elder sharing a Dreamtime story about twin brothers separated by a trickster spirit, eventually reunited. Kuparr was listening to the English translation Wirra quietly provided. Suddenly, tears were streaming down his face. That's us. That story is about us. Yes. I remember now. Father told us this story when we were little. Before I was taken. I remember. Memory was flooding back, not complete, not perfect, but real, genuine. I miss it, Kuparr sobbed. I miss who I was. I miss the boy who understood these stories, spoke this language, belonged here. The mission took him from me, and I let them. I even thanked them for it. Wirra held his brother, their first real embrace since his return. He's not gone. He's still there, buried, hidden, but alive. We're bringing him back. What if I'm too damaged, too whitewashed? You're not damaged. You're wounded. Big difference. Wounds can heal. A year passed. Kuparr, now reclaiming his name, asking to be called Kuparr, not Charles, made significant progress. He spoke Wiradjuri conversationally, participated in ceremonies, hunted competently, even taught younger children, combining traditional knowledge with literacy skills from the mission. Best of both worlds, an elder said approvingly. Traditional wisdom, modern tools. But Kuparr still struggled with identity. Sometimes he felt Wiradjuri. Sometimes he felt like an outsider, an in-between space, uncomfortable. I don't fully belong anywhere, he confessed to Wirra. Not in the white world, they see me as Aboriginal. Not in the traditional world, I'm too colonized. Where do I fit? You fit here, with us, with me, your twin. We're complete together, remember? Are we? I'm not who I was. Can't be. No, you're who you are now. Someone who survived cultural genocide, who's reclaiming his identity piece by piece. That's not weakness. That's incredible strength. Doesn't feel strong, feels broken. Broken things can be mended, and scars prove you survived. An elder ceremony was held. Kuparr was officially welcomed back into the community. Not as who he was, but as who he'd become. Survivor, cultural reclaimer, bridge between worlds. During the ceremony, Wirra and Kuparr stood together. Twin warriors, different paths, same destination. We're not identical anymore, Kuparr said. No, but we're brothers. That never changed. I'm sorry. For everything the mission made me believe, for thinking you were savage, for losing myself. You didn't lose yourself. They tried to take you, but you're coming back. That's what matters. Years later, Kuparr became an advocate. He spoke out against mission schools, forced assimilation, cultural genocide, used his literacy and English to write letters, give testimonies, fight the system that had damaged him. I'm living proof, he'd say, of what the stolen generation does. They don't save children, they destroy them, steal their identity, their language, their soul. And they call it charity. He also became a cultural teacher, helped other mission returnees reconnect with lost heritage. It's not easy. Some days you'll hate yourself for forgetting, other days you'll hate them for stealing. Both feelings are valid, but don't give up. Your identity is worth fighting for. Wirra was always by his side. Twin brothers, reunited in purpose if not in experience. You're my reminder, Kuparr told Wirra, of who I could have been, should have been. I'm your brother. That's all that matters. And you're my reminder, Wirra said, that survival takes many forms. You survived genocide. That's a warrior's achievement. On their 40th birthday, they stood together on traditional land. Two men, one identity split and partially mended. Think we'll ever be truly whole again? Kuparr asked. Maybe not whole like we were, but whole like we are. A different wholeness. Is that enough? It has to be. It's what we have, and in that acceptance, imperfect healing, incomplete recovery, but genuine connection, they found peace. Not the peace of what should have been, but peace of what was and what could still become. Twin brothers, separated by colonial violence, reunited by family love, forever changed but never truly broken, because identity, once stolen, can be reclaimed. Culture, once suppressed, can be revived, and belonging, once denied, can be rebuilt. One painful, courageous step at a time.